This is not a video I would think I would ever have to make in my lifetime, and obviously in my own lifetime, I this moment would definitely come, but it just seemed so far off into the future that it was something I never thought of. Now, if you're not aware of what I'm referring to, I mean, you can probably tell by the title, but last night the author of Dragon Ball, one of my all-time favorite series, one of one of the only few series that brings me unparalleled hype. Akira Toriyama, he unfortunately passed away, and you, I don't have a script. I'm just gonna go off my heart, but it's an understatement to say how devastated I was at that news. I remember just not wanting to believe what happened, not wanting to believe that it was true. And then I go online on Twitter and I see all the news about it, everyone reacting, and it was like it's real. This actually happened, and it just came out of nowhere, man. The official Dragon Ball Twitter account posted a statement in regards to it, and I had to reread that multiple times because I was just in utter shock and disbelief. Dragon Ball is something that has always been with me since I was a kid, all my life pretty much. I mean, compared to others, I'm still extremely young, but it really has been a part of all my life since I was little. My cousin, he had the orange bricks. He had all of them from the beginning of Z to the end to all of the GT ones, even though there was only like two of those ones. But he's the reason I got into Dragon Ball because of those orange bricks. I didn't grow up with cable, and a lot that was all I'd watch on repeat. Not only that, he had all the PlayStations, the PS2, the PS3, the PS1, and he had all the fighting games, all the Dragon Ball fighting games. So, along with not only just watching the show, I'd fight against my cousin like almost every day, and it was fun. And I was just a little kid. He'd whoop my ass on those games, but it was fun, man. I have so many memories fighting him, watching the show with him, and just it was just such a good time, and it's not something that just only stuck with me as a kid. Growing up, I always continued to love Dragon Ball. Now, it's just it's just hard, man. Something that's been with me and had a big influence, cause now Dragon Ball might not be my favorite series ever, but like I said, it's a series that brings me unparalleled hype. And now that I've had some time to settle in, it's a lot easier for me to talk about it and be a little less emotional. But, one reason Dragon Ball stuck with me all my life, even though it got to a point where there was just no more content being made for it, if any. I mean, we'd still get some of the games, but that was about it. Like Xenoverse. Xenoverse is a big reason why I kept up with Dragon Ball, but the biggest one would have to be Toriyama gave me my favorite fictional character of all time. And now you might be sitting here thinking, like, wow, really? Out of all of fiction, this is your favorite character? Yes, without a shadow of a doubt, this man right here is my favorite character of all time. Toriyama gave me not just Gohan, future Gohan, and specifically. Now, not to disrespect any of the other Gohan variants, because those are all just as amazing, but Future Gohan in particular, he really stood out to me. Now, I'm not quite sure what it was that attached me to him at first, except for probably one reason and one reason only. Growing up in Texas, the Battle of the Alamo is something I've always loved. It's probably my favorite battle in all of human history, and that's just because of what it represents. The last stand of the brave soldiers of the Alamo was something that just stood out as something so cool to me, something so brave and raw, and I loved it. As tragic as it was that they lost their lives, what they stood and represented by never giving up, even in the face of impossible odds, I just fell in love with that. And that's what Future Gohan was. And I love him for that. 13 years, if I remember right. He fought the androids, never giving up hope. Now, he may have given up in himself, especially by the time Trunks was born, but the fact that he just never gave up, never stopped fighting until the bitter end, and his last stand was just so cool. I fell in love with him. And as I grew older, I grew to better understand what he represented in that storyline as well. N- I the most recent example I can compare him to is when Goku in from Demon Slayer in the Mugen Train movie. What he stood for was when Goku is Future Gohan did before. Not just say Future Gohan was the force, but Future Gohan for me is the one that I grew attached to. It got to the point where as a kid I wanted to. Unironically, now I might seem weird for this, but I love that man so much. I wanted to lose an arm to be like him. You know, he was just the coolest thing to me, man. I fucking love Future Gohan, and to this day I still do. So he stood with me, and other characters like Bardock and Vegeta, obviously Goku and Vegeta, they're just as cool and everything, but Future Gohan just stands above the rest, and for that alone, I thank Toriyama because without him, I wouldn't have Future Gohan. Without him, I wouldn't have had those memories with my cousin. Without him, I wouldn't be friends with some of the people who also watched and loved Dragon Ball. I wouldn't have gotten interested in YouTubers who I love and adore now. And I can go on and on about the impact he's had on pop culture and media in general, but I think enough people will talk about that and enough has already been said. It's obviously not an understatement to say how big of an impact he had, but nonetheless, uh, I think that's for other people to say, not me. But I mean, growing up in the early days of YouTube as well. Now, a lot of people were there even before I was, but um, AMVs. I specifically remember AMVs as a kid, and those were always a big thing for people in anime. And now this was at a time before I got into anime, but I remember seeing them on my YouTube feed. And what you're actually watching right now in the background that I have playing is an AMV dedicated to Future Gohan, my favorite character in all of fiction. Almost 20 years later, give or take, I made my first ever AMV dedicated to my GOAT, my favorite character in all of fiction, Future Gohan. And that's what's playing right now. I mean, I know you can't hear the song, so forgive me, but I just felt it appropriate to talk about when talking about this subject to have it only be with Future Gohan. I can go on and on. I can talk about so many things about what Toriyama has done, and I've cried a lot already. Scrolling through the timeline on Twitter and seeing a lot of the art that people did and how fast they do it too, it's just beautiful. I can't understate how amazed I am at how this event has brought so many people together. I saw posts from random people mourning. I saw posts from celebrities mourning, voice actors, actors producers, animators, other artists. I even saw political figures. The French president, the president of France, made a post mourning Akira Toriyama. The Chinese Foreign Embassy made a video publicly mourning his death, his passing, and it's just my entire feed is just filled with memories of other people and sharing their experiences with not just Dragon Ball, but with Toriyama in general, with Dr. Slump, Chrono Trigger, Dragon Quest. It's I have never before in my life seen people come together in solidarity before, and I it's a beautiful thing to see, and but for the occasion it's also a bit tragic because of just how much of a legend Toriyama was. I just can't believe he's gone. So, what I wanted to do today, other than just talking about it, like I said, I can go on and on, but I wrote a fan fiction that I have been wanting to make into a video, but I wanted to get artists to draw for it so I could have visuals to go along with it. But with this news, I figured what not a better way to honor him, but this is my send off for Toriyama. Now, fan fiction could be seen, I guess, from a certain point of view in a negative light because it's not what the author intended. It's changing storylines, but Future Gohan is my favorite character, and I wholeheartedly believe he should have won, and I wanted the best for my boy. So I made a Future Gohan fan fiction, and I'm gonna read it out loud to y'all here. I'm gonna read it, and this is my send off for Toriyama. This is my send off. So this takes place during the Kakarot DLC, and if you recall the moments leading up to Gohan's final stand, especially up until the beam struggle, this is where this takes place. Just as the Kamehameha clash begins, Trunks wakes up and sees the beam struggle from where he is. He is angry and upset that Gohan left to fight on his own, and upset that he's powerless to do anything. He's on the cliff, watching, thinking, thinking how his master might die, knowing he can't do anything to help. Trunks gets angrier by the second, not at Gohan for leaving him, but at himself. I can't do anything but just watch, he says angrily. Gohan, why? I I need you. I can't lose you. Trunks begins to smash and pound at the ground, clutching his fist. He continues watching the clash, sensing Gohan growing ever weaker, and begins fearing the worst. Gohan! No! Gohan! I can't lose you! Tears start forming in his eyes, then screaming in anger. No! I won't lose you! I won't lose my friend, my mentor. I will not lose my brother. All the anger growing in Trunks bursts out, and he becomes a Super Saiyan and rushes towards Gohan and the androids. While this is happening, Gohan is holding out, using everything he has for what seems futile. Gohan thinks to himself, I can't lose here. Everyone is counting on me, but I'm not strong enough. I can't save anyone. But that doesn't mean I won't fight. I have to. Not for me, but for everyone. It flashes back to Trunks laying on the ground. Trunks, as long as I know you're safe and alive, I can fight till the end. You're our last hope. I'm sorry, Dad. I couldn't win, Gohan says aloud. Suddenly, a voice speaks. Believe, Gohan. Gohan hears it, but doesn't know what's happening. You're strong, Gohan. The power has always been within you. Dad? Gohan says. Dig deep. Look inside past yourself. You've always had the power. I don't have any power left. My fight is finished. Someone stronger will take my place. Gohan says to himself, you are strong, and you can go beyond your doubt, your regret. Use them. Fuel your anger. As this progresses, Gohan is losing more and more ground and is at the brink. Gohan, struggling with himself and the words of his father, hears an unexpected voice. Masenko! Ha! Trunks screams as he launches an attack. Gohan, shocked at this, quickly questions what Trunks is doing here. I would not let you die! Trunks screams, putting all his power into his attack. Trunks! You need to run! Now! They'll kill you! Gohan yells. Believe in yourself, Gohan! You've always had the power! Goku says. I have people counting on me. People who need me to win. Your emotions, your anger, release them, Goku says. I can't. No, I won't lose here. Dad, Vegeta, even Piccolo, they're all gone. I was always too weak to help anybody. Piccolo sacrificed himself for me. Dad saved me from Raditz. Even Vegeta helped the Frieza so we could win. Gohan, swirling up with emotions, sorrow, regret, pain, anger, all swelling inside him until I've always had people protecting me because I was never strong enough. But they always believed in me, believed that I can grow beyond. I can't. I won't let them down. Gohan's hair begins to spike. Traces of lightning flicker around him until Gohan ascends. Ha! Releasing everything into his Kamehameha, he pushes the android's beam back. The androids, shocked, release more power but are overwhelmed and are engulfed in the blast. Defeated. Gohan lies on the ground, back in his base form, a similar pose as his present counterpart after beating Cell. The day is won. Peace is obtained. Thank you, Toriyama, for creating nothing short of a masterpiece. Thank you for creating a work of art that has inspired millions of people, has touched millions of people, and has helped millions of people get through so much. Without you, this world would surely have been a darker place for many people, including myself. May Otherworld treat you well. May your soul rest in peace. Thank you for everything. It it means just thank you, Toriyama. I hope you realize how much of an impact you had on not just me, but on everyone who has read your series. Thank you and goodbye.